Hey, what's up, traders? I want to talk about a volume profile setup now that I see all the time in the market. So let me show you what I see, and this happens a couple times a week. So I want to show it to you. Okay, guys. So I put a video about trading the open last week, and it seemed to hit pretty well with you guys. You guys want more of that, so I see things from time to time, and I'm gonna just start making videos about them when I see it. This one particular, I use volume profile, guys, as a way to organize information. I learned volume profile personally from a guy, Futures Trader 71. You guys probably have heard of him. His name is Morad Asker. He's very, very good. I don't know him personally, but I learned a lot of what I know from him and what you need to know about volume profile. And you don't have to use volume profile, guys. But what I learned from volume profile is it's not a trading system. It's just a way to organize information. So if you're using volume profile to think that it's going to make you $1 million, you're wrong. It's not in itself. It just helps you with the context. It itself won't do anything for you except for tell you what's kind of going on in the market, and then you execute based on that. But I see this set up quite a bit. And this is what we call the weak high in this case. So weak highs and weak lows. Essentially, what you're looking for in a volume profile is, or what you're seeing, and this isn't going to be really in depth about volume profile. What you're looking for in a volume profile is consensus, right? So I'm looking at this profile, and what you see in this histogram is where the trades have taken place. So it'll print the bar based on how much volume is at each price, and then you get the very little bars mean that there's been very little volume traded there. The biggest bar, the red one, the volume point of control, that's the most volume traded during this time frame. Now I have these set up for the daily time frame starting at the Globex open, which is 6 o'clock Eastern time. Goes all the way to the end of the day. So this is the one from Friday. This is the one from Monday. Or I can, set them custom days. Like on my big picture right now, I have one from, let's say, April 25th all the way to now, which is, almost is coming up on it's past a year, right? So in the volume profile, what I'm looking for is something with a Gaussian bell-shaped curve, fat in the middle, thin on the outside. That's indicating balance to me, right? So the most traded price is in the middle, and you have this taper on the edges, okay? Taper on the edges. Now, what you'll see when you look at today's profile so far is you don't see that same taper. You see a very blunt edge, right? A very, we call this a weak high, where you don't have a lot of volume. I mean, you have a ton of volume on the high. You don't have that taper. So I'd want to see this thing tapered more like, I'd like to see it more tapered like this, like I just showed you on the big picture. We don't have that taper. So what I'm looking for when I see these blunt edges is for the market to continue in that direction. So in this case, if I'm looking at the daily time frame, if I'm looking at today, what we've done so far, we've traded a lot on the high. So I'm looking for that to continue. Contrary to popular belief, where people will say, oh, you have rejection up here. You can look at this candle and say you have rejection. I'm thinking that this thing still has some room to run before we clean this up. When I say clean this up, I'd like this thing to move higher and then see the rejection and see a very thin top. I want to see a taper at the top. Just like you see how you have this taper at the bottom? That looks more like what I want to see, and I want to see that on the high side too. So that when we have these very thick, blunt edges, I'm expecting the market to actually continue there before the buying gets shut off. And I'll see this time and again because, like, right now we're trading 45.19. Like, the high is 45.28, so we at least have 8 to 10 points where I'm still expecting the market to go up there and take that, right? And so this will keep you kind of on the right side of the market instead of saying, hey, the market's traded a lot at the highs, and I hear this all the time. The market's traded a lot at the highs and it can't get through. That means it has to reverse. No, that doesn't. It's actually quite the opposite. The more it trades on one side and the more volume we put on that side, the more likely that side is to eventually break. When it breaks, then if the buying gets shut off and we come back and we see that really tapered edge, then we can maybe start looking for some mean reversion or some shorts, but I don't look for it until then, okay? So that's just the way I trade. We'll see how this plays out. This thing could reverse from here and go down to 4,300. I don't know. Nobody knows, but I'm just saying the higher probability play is this thing continues higher, and then we see if the buying gets shut off, but I don't see that the buying gets shut off until we continue higher, if that makes sense. And if it does, if it reverses, it's going to reverse here without me, of course, but I'm not shorting it here saying, oh, there's a big wick on this candle, the market has to go down. I just think that that's, you know, you're trying to pick tops there, and I just don't think that that's a recipe for long-term success. This also doesn't mean, and this is a big part, guys, this also doesn't mean that this one has to work. Okay, so if this is, you could say, okay, there's a 70% probability that this works. This, you know, that means that there's 30% of the time that it won't work. And I'm just throwing a random number out there. I'm not saying that, you know, this is a 70% setup. It is a high probability setup, and I do expect this to go higher. But I would not put my entire account on one trade, and I don't think it's ever wise to do that. You need to have, you know, money management, knowing that, hey, not all trades are going to work. If everything worked all the time, it wouldn't work anymore because the edge would be gone. Okay, so this is just the way I look at the market, guys. Again, you do not have to trade like this. You do not have to use volume profile at all. I use it. I think it shows me, you know, some pretty good stuff. And all you have to do, if you're using TradingView, all you have to do is go to indicators and go to, let's see, technicals. We'll do the volume profile. Where are we? I don't know where you find them, actually. They've changed this up a little bit, guys. I don't know where the volume profiles are. Let's see, profiles. Okay, under profiles, not under indicators, guys. You saw that right there. So what you would, if you want to look at the daily, you would just put session volume profile. Okay, that's what that is. That's why it's called SVP, session volume profile. And you can mess around. My thing is, right now it's set to 9:30 a.m. Right now, in exchange time. This actually should be set to, I have it set at all sessions, but if you want to look at the market, like pre-market, post-market, custom session, you can separate these as each session. And TradingView is very good at setting these, you know, adjusting these. I haven't even seen that they've done this yet. So you could set it custom. I have it set for the entire session, so the entire Globex session. But if I mess around with this, I could set this to custom, and then I can make this so it's only, you know, this 8:36 exchange time. That would just be the regular trading session. You see that? Now it's just trading from the market open. I have it set for the full session, so all sessions, and then it gives me the entire thing right there. So you still have that blunt edge. I'm looking for this thing to still continue higher until that gets cleaned up. And then that's one of the setups I look for. I think it's a high probability setup. Maybe it can help your trading. Take it for what it's worth, but please don't bet the farm on any one trade. All right, guys, that's volume profile. We call that a weak high. I'm expecting that weak high to be taken.